बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम डियर व्यूअर्स, एक दफा फिर माइंड ग्रूमर्स के प्लेटफॉर्म से रियलिटी टॉक के साथ औरंगजेब सोहरवर्दी एंड दिस टाइम we are discussing a topic which is very very important as regard entrepreneurship education, regarding international education, and we have an academic expert of education, Mr. Hans, with us from Bangkok. We really welcome and we are really thankful to Hans that you joined and you are participating with us in today's program. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much. Sawadi Krab from Bangkok. Assalamu alaikum.
That's great. That's great. Hans is very, very familiar about Pakistani culture and food and different cities. So there is nothing new for him. He is very comfortable with me also because we spent very good time in IBA Karachi last year, and I still cherish those memories. So Hans, in the beginning of the program, I would request you to please tell us about your professional background, about your recent projects, and what are you doing in the academic field in Bangkok?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So first of all, I have to say, there is so much to explore in Pakistan. So I just get a smell of Pakistan, and I met great people. I met in the international summer course of the IBA in Karachi. And that was my first step to Pakistan. But when I hear achievements and what is the current project, oh dear God, make me a burden so I can fly far, far away. There is not a single academic doing something. Any achievement is a teamwork, is the result of collaboration and co-creation. So I'm just a part of it. And my background is being a practitioner. So I'm bridging academic and practice. Having been an entrepreneur for 25 years and then a late bloomer in academia. So that's a combination which supports teaching entrepreneurship. And talking about a current project, the recent project is Startup Pulse Thailand, which is a research institute for data-driven decision-making. So we observe that all people are talking about startups, are talking about ecosystems. And what we are going to do is we are talking with the startups, and we are talking and asking them about their attitudes, their aspirations, and their framework conditions in Thailand. And we hope to scale this to other countries as well. And this is based on Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, the largest and comprehensive study on entrepreneurship, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. So I encourage each and everyone to go to gemconsortium.org and find out what this great team of researchers is doing for more than 20 years. And it's great to bring some additional aspects, regional aspects to it, with a focus on Thai startups and Thai startuppreneurs. And this has to do with entrepreneurship education, because what we are doing is we are encouraging students either to be a successor in their family business and also to add a column to the business, or with a startup mind, be a fountain of use for the business. And also those who are just starting a new business and scaling and growing it.
Okay, that's great. Now I would like to ask you a question which many people ask and they talk about it. Most of the people say that entrepreneurship cannot be taught in universities or colleges. It is a thing which can be learned on the streets, on the markets. So what do you say about it? Because you have been an entrepreneur, now you are in academia. So what is your opinion? What are your views?
I think based on my entrepreneurial experience, the achievement is to stand and to stand up when you are falling. So the key is to pull your own braid out of the swamp. Yeah, that's why I don't have hairs anymore. So you can, of course, just do it by gut feeling, and then you will make experience and you pay for it. The question, can entrepreneurship be taught? This is answered. Entrepreneurship can be taught. And this is answered by Babson College in the US as one leading university for entrepreneurship education, and #1 in entrepreneurship education for more than 20 years. And they prove entrepreneurship can be taught. There are academics who created a system of teaching entrepreneurship, which consists of the role of play, the role of creation, the role of experimentation, and the role of empathy. And this all around self-reflection. And with these elements, they created exercises. And what are these exercises doing? They are helping to gain interest in entrepreneurship, gain interest to become an entrepreneur, gain interest, not just dream, just do it, but also do it with the concept of to think, to act, and to build on experience. So in teaching entrepreneurship, we have to raise the entrepreneurial confidence, we have to raise the innovative confidence, we have to teach skills and knowledge, and this will cause entrepreneurial interest. There are exercises for idea generation.
That's great.
And students have to select ideas and turn them in business opportunities ready to launch. Entrepreneurship can be taught.
That I will ask you in a separate question. Now I would like to ask you that you can link your answer with your next answer, that if entrepreneurship can be taught, then what sort of basic principles to be kept in mind while designing the curriculum for the universities or colleges? What do you do in the university? How you design curriculum? How you select what to teach? How to select what sort of teaching method to be adopted? What should be done?
There was an answer to it before COVID. And the answer before COVID is not the same after COVID. So those who think we are just coming back to normal and we do what we did before will not work anymore. So this is the time to change. Having said that entrepreneurship can be taught, having said that there are all these elements in place, the key question is, are the universities prepared as a university, as an entity? And are the curricula ready to it? So in detail, is the concept of having 12, 13, or 15, 16 weeks in a semester, the concept of having courses with different topics? Will these courses lead to support entrepreneurial education? Or is it more likely that we need cross-faculty modular systems, that you can choose modules, that you combine modules from different faculties to the direction which I already addressed? Idea generation, turning the idea an opportunity, and launch the business, act, think, and reshape it. So the curriculum, to me, the traditional curriculum is less likely supporting entrepreneurship education. We created a summer course, which became kind of, Dr. Shahid from IBA said, I'm the grandfather of the summer course in Pakistan. This is by far just a nice wording, yet we created a summer course which provides serendipity. We call it structured serendipity. So we don't tell the students before, these are the teaching and learning activities, these are the intended learning outcomes. No, as a host, we structure modules, and then this causes a serendipity, an effect on unexpected discoveries. Education is to unsettle the mind, and this is precisely what we are doing with structured serendipity or effectual serendipity. I give you an example. We did this last October with international students. So on the first evening, you go up to a rooftop bar and you look down to on Thailand. The next day, you learn about, get to know about microfinance in India and Bangladesh and Thailand. And on the afternoon, we go to the slums, to the slum communities in Bangkok and discover them. And back we go to a rooftop bar on top and we look down and then we talk about the mindset. Are you looking down? What did you learn today there? So to expose students with experience, I think the key is we are using case studies. This is great. We try to bring not case studies, we try to provide cases, industry projects, where students are part of living case studies. They are part of the case study. That's one element. So I think all these, it's not new, but we need to combine this after COVID in a new way, because we will not teach anymore in the classroom as we did. We will have in the classroom a situation where students are in maybe 50% of their time. Or maybe they are not regular on campus, they are coming for these kinds of summer courses, short academic programs, 2-3 weeks. So we have this experience of exercises, but then we have online experience. And we combine them. I think this will be a future situation in universities. The problem is, are the universities prepared for it?
You very comprehensively told us that what should be the design of the curriculum and how the teaching activities should go on. Like you said that you have a classroom session also, then you visit the slums area also, you adopt case studies also. Okay, fine. But doing all this, you require a proper, competent faculty. What are your views on faculty development, especially who are interested to teach entrepreneurship?
If you want to teach entrepreneurship, you should have been entrepreneur, or you should be an entrepreneur, or at least you should be part of a network of entrepreneurs to feel what it means, the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. We are hearing in COVID situation, in every crisis is a chance. You need to know that for many entrepreneurs, these COVID times, C times, are times no cash, no customers, no credit. And then you tell them there's an opportunity. So you need to be part of the entrepreneurial network, and you need to be part that you are really in a trustful network, close network with entrepreneurs at least. But it's better if you have been entrepreneur, you experienced this by yourself. And another part for faculty, I think, is you need to be inspired. You need to be inspired, because if you are not inspired, you cannot inspire others. So yes, it's not just a topic you teach. It's something which is your passion.
Okay. That's great. Okay, Hans, now after this great explanation, I would like to ask you and your comments regarding most of the startups fail within 1 or 2 years of their starting the business. The research says that the people who start those startups do not possess the business acumen or the entrepreneurial qualities. So, what are your views? What are your suggestions in university, in books, in teaching methodology? What sort of activities should be adopted to make people think, develop their business acumen, and then launch the business?
Yeah, you are right. We have to differentiate between entrepreneurs up to 3.5 years. GEM, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, is calling this in the first 3 months the nascent entrepreneur, and up to 3.5 years the total early stage entrepreneurs. And of course, the number differs, but it's around 80% of all startups fail within the first 3 or 3.5 years. And it is due to several influencing factors. If you look into influencing factors globally and also in Thailand, there is very often said it's funding, it's capacity for entrepreneurship. And if you are asking capacity for entrepreneurship, it's entrepreneurship education. Yes, if you have an entrepreneurship education, you do not need to be among these statistics. You may be among these statistics, but you don't need to. So when I'm listening to a failure night in Bangkok and entrepreneurs are sharing their experience of failure, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, oh my God, yeah, this is what we teach. You made just some mistakes and you experienced this in practice, but you could have avoided this. You could have avoided this by being part of a network, by being part of entrepreneurial education. And it's not about writing business plans, 40 pages, 100 pages. Kevin Mulcahy from Babson, he provided a very smart business plan on 2 to 3 pages that you think and that you have something educated, a capacity to act and to build on experience. IBA is pretty much an effectuation. So it's this kind of what is your bird at hand, and don't exceed your affordable loss. We need to know every company dies. It's only a question when. Every company dies. It's only a question when. So it's important to teach the entrepreneurial perspective. It's important to teach and learn and experience coping processes and have coping strategies in place when you fall into the swamp, that you can pull yourself out. That's an important part, and you need to have exit strategies. You need to know that startups more likely fail than established businesses, and if startups more likely fail in the first 3 years, then you need to have solutions at hand, exit strategies, and not dreaming we are starting a company, we're doing our IPO, and we are Zuckerberg rich. No, it's about having strategies in place for opportunity-driven situation. Great, IPO, trade sale, sales, sale back and buy back by your founding partner. But what if? What if your company is not in an opportunity-driven situation? When your startup is after 2 years in a necessity-driven situation, it's getting more difficult. And what about, what's your coping strategy personally and also in business activities when you are falling into an urgency-driven situation? And then what if you are falling and your startup is in an urgency-driven situation? In a situation where you cannot afford to pay and you have to file insolvency, or you have to change this within weeks or days. So we need to teach the dark side of entrepreneurship. Everybody is talking about success stories. Success is just success. Yeah. That's it. But we need to talk about failure stories. We need to talk and teach about how to go over this personally, financially, and with the company, for your employees, for your suppliers, for your customers.
That's great, Hans. You are very, very competent, experienced entrepreneur also, and now you are in academia also. So my desire is to ask maximum questions from you to get maximum knowledge. So now I would like to ask you that most of the young students and youngsters, boys and girls, they complain about resources, connectivity. What are your suggestions how the students of entrepreneurship can be connected to various organizations and various investors so that they can groom themselves, they can get finances, they can support their businesses? What are your suggestions?
Yeah, that's a very important question, because funding is one of the key elements which is raised by entrepreneurs, and also I experienced this. Let me point out maybe an important part. We need to have this part of creating the business within the university program. There is a university, Ciputra University for Entrepreneurship in Indonesia. So let's think about program, where a bachelor program, where students are prepared for 2 years, that they have their ideas shaped and they are ready to present as students to a committee. and let them get the funding. How? By corporates, CSR projects who are giving them money, yet they can be on the board, yet they are not deciding. This is a team of competent people for this specific project. And then the student get the funding and start the business within the study program, and has not teaching, has mentoring, tough coaching. And then the student has to run the business, and the idea is the student has to pay back the funds after 1.5 years. If the students cannot do it, you don't get your graduation certificate. If you say, I need more time, okay, we give you 1.5 years more. And after total 3 years, you have to make a decision. Either you close down the business, or you negotiate the funds, or you are successful. So these kinds of concepts where we integrate startup activity into an educational program, this may be an opportunity which will work out. Why?
Okay.
Because you can get a grade A when you fail, when you started and you closed the business properly down because it did not work out. So we need to think beyond barriers of traditional education, and the funding for these kinds of concepts, well, if it is from CSR projects of corporates, either they have, or banks, either they have a new customer, or they really did a great corporate social responsibility project. And this is just one example from one university, and there are a lot of opportunities and experiences to discover in other universities. So as we are obviously a bit disconnected, to point out we need to have a modular education. We need to have a cross faculty and cross program education, and also we may go away from this kind of education 3.5 years. Maybe you have a time of 5-6 years through certificate programs, and you add these certificates together, and after 5 years, according to your time you invest, you gain your bachelor degree, or in a master program as well. And an alternative is something which is very successful. I'm German born, so I have no sense of humor, of course, and so you see me quite serious here on the screen, typical German. Yet in Germany there is an education which is called a dual vocational study degree program. So students are half of the time in a company and half of the time at the university. So in this case, it is all about developing entrepreneurial employees. We should not forget, entrepreneurship education is not just developing entrepreneurs as successors in family business or startups, running their own business, being shareholder in this business. Entrepreneurship education is also educating entrepreneurial employees, because these are the ones we need in the future. It is about attitude. So it's about trust, it's about credibility, it's about, is the student investable? So it's for an entrepreneur who wants to start their own business. The question is, are you investable? And the same question for an employee, are you investable? So we have concepts in place. The key is our current university system capable to utilize these opportunities fast? As we had to adapt quickly to online teaching, now we have to adapt quickly to these concepts. And the key is the unity in the diversity.
I would like you to explain these two terminology further. Diversity and?
Look at this. We try to teach entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a buzzword. Yeah. And now each and every university in the world has entrepreneurship education, and sometimes it's just a new name for the same. The same teachers are suddenly teaching entrepreneurship. This doesn't work. Or we have these kinds of programs, entrepreneurship and innovation, entrepreneurship and knowledge management, entrepreneurship and AI, entrepreneurship and... We are talking about entrepreneurship. And the question is whether entrepreneurship education is more moving towards fractionalized entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurship, foodpreneurship, IA-preneurship, techpreneurship. We have fractionalized entrepreneurs, and the question is whether we have to move in this direction. But what does it mean for a university? We are all over the world managed organization. We are managerial organizations in universities. And your organization need to be the mirror, need to prove that you are entrepreneurial as an institution, because if you are not entrepreneurial as an institution, how can you inspire entrepreneurs? If you are not an institution which is run entrepreneurially, how can you run programs entrepreneurially? So what does it mean? We need to turn managed, oriented, hierarchical universities into entrepreneurial organizations. And that's the problem. And it's not about we do a little or late. The key problem is those universities who do little or late on this, they will not be able to continue in the future. We have these top universities like Babson, MIT, Harvard, Darden, name them, wonderful. They have a whole waiting list, and they will have their students because there is a reason that they are at the top. But all the other universities, they really need to quickly adapt their organizations to entrepreneurial organizations. So I think we have to teach university management, entrepreneurial university management. And I assume that the existing structure of universities and the existing structure of programs are less likely supporting entrepreneurship education, and we can do it better. We are not bad. What we have to do, we have to make out of good universities better universities, out of good programs better programs.
That was really nice, Hans. I wonder that there is no aspect of entrepreneurial education which you have not covered. You were so comprehensive and so clear. Before we close the program, I would like you to give your concluding remarks about the universities and the faculty, and also for the young students. It can be a suggestion, it can be your advice, it can be anything to conclude this wonderful program.
Well, if you do closing remarks, you need a fast horse to get out of it, right? Of your own remarks. To the students, you need to know your personal values, the values, your beliefs, that leaves you running. And it leaves you running with your mindset. And the key is attitude, attitude, attitude. The question for universities is don't do too little and too late. And for entrepreneurs, it is please connect with universities. Bear that academia is different than practice, but academics have a lot to offer, And therefore, I encourage entrepreneurs, please be connected to universities, be guest speakers, provide industry projects, industry studies, living case studies where students solve problems you have in the company. This kind of co-creation and collaboration of practice and education will support your company and will support education. There is a wonderful quote I was reading in a report of the GEM report of South Africa, and it is, entrepreneurs are like artists who dream, create, and inspire, and they begin with a blank canvas. Their art is our future.
So with this wonderful message of Mr. HAANS, we are really, really thankful again that he spared his time and participated in such a wonderful discussion on entrepreneurship education. Dear viewers, I hope you enjoyed. Listen to the messages which he gave to the entrepreneurs, to the universities, to the individual boys and girls, and act upon that so that you undertake entrepreneurial projects, you generate economic activity, and the country moves ahead to the road of progress. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad. Thank you very much, HAANS. See you again, inshallah.
Inshallah, Sawadee Krap from Bangkok.
Bye.